Hello and welcome back to the Done Deal YouTube channel, and today we are joined with a new Chinese car. It is spelt XPENG, but actually it seems to be pronounced XPENG, and this is the G6. It's a premium coupe SUV, and in this video we're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and a few other different things that you'll need to know. However, at the front of it, it looks like a very good value, decent range, fully electric SUV. Now on the road, there are some good and there are some bad things about the G6, and we're going to start with the bad. The first is that the Bluetooth, the quality is not amazing. A few people have actually asked me to take them off loudspeaker, which very rarely happens in a modern car. The second thing that I'm not a massive fan of is the fact that it seems to have a little bit of a squeak here. It might just be the specific car, but the seat seems to rub against another one. I spoke to a few of the journalists, they haven't had that. But I am experiencing that, and it has driven me mad, but not as mad as the binging and bonging. Now I get that new cars have to have their safety systems, their speed limit detection, but this is a whole other level. I was driving on the motorway multiple times with two hands on the steering wheel, and it starts to tell me that my hands aren't on the steering wheel and to take over control of the car, which was just a bit weird. On the flip side of that though, this camera here will monitor you, and if I yawn, it will actually come up on the screen and tell me to take a break because I am drowsy, which is very impressive. Now additionally, it is a great size car. It's not too big, it fits into a lot of parking spots. I love that when you turn on the indicator, it actually comes up here on the screen with your blind spot. Really, really nice touch. The power is pretty good, and the suspension is really smooth, particularly if you're to compare it to the Model Y. Now that said, I haven't driven the new Model Y, but the older one did have a bit of a stiff suspension. One thing I do like about the speed recognition is the first time that you marginally break the speed limit, it actually comes up here on the screen offering to turn it off, which is really good. You don't have to go rooting through the system every single time. It's just kind of quickly there, the button. And also another thing I really love in terms of the technology is whenever I'm at a traffic light and the car in front of me pulls off, if I'm distracted for whatever reason, it will actually bing and say the car in front has moved off. Just those nice little touches that make living with it quite nice. Now with that said and done, let's talk about the prices and the different versions. So interestingly, they start at about 42,000 euros, which is really good value. And for that, you're getting a 66 kilowatt hour battery, which delivers about 435 kilometers of range. Now, if you spend a little over 49,000 euro, there you're going to get the 87.5 kilowatt hour battery, and that has a 570 kilometer range, which is really good. And the spec throughout the car, it actually makes it a very compelling argument. So this is what's called a coupe SUV. So you'll notice that there is a sloping rear roof line. Now we're seeing that a lot more these days, and there's kind of two reasons. The first is because it can look a little bit better, but the big one is it makes it more aerodynamic, which when you're making electric cars, or any car for that matter, it actually helps. Now, on the inside here of the boot, with 571 litres, it is actually pretty practical. Nice open space. It's a hatch style, which could be quite useful for some people. Small bit of storage under here, the seats fold, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Decent size, and an electronic tailgate, which is quite nice too. Now in terms of charging, well, on the standard range you'll get about 215 kilowatts, which is quite fast. On the long range, you'll actually get about 280, which is really good if you can find a charger for it. Now that said, today I charged a 250 kilowatt fast charger, and the max speed I got out of it was about 70 kilowatts. Now I do think I didn't prime the car, I didn't set it in my sat nav, so it wasn't really an optimum charge, but it was for about 18%. So it's just one thing to bear. It hasn't charged as fast as some other cars in the real world. Now let's take a look at the inside. There is a massive screen here, and actually it's really good. So where it gets complicated is when you're in Apple CarPlay, you can feel a little bit lost. However, if you swipe up or down, you get these widgets and shortcuts, which is really handy. One thing I don't love, but it's not only XPENG doing this, all your climate control is in there, and it is a little bit sketchy at times if you're driving along and trying to change the temperature or find your heated seats. But as a whole, really good. I've mostly used the Apple CarPlay. I haven't used the system too much itself, like I do in a lot of cars. And on top of that, I will say the 360 camera is quite nice. It's not the biggest car in the world, but just having that quick shortcut there to see exactly where every curb is means that you have no excuse to ever curb the wheels on this. There's also a little display in front of the driver here, which is quite nice. The drive stalk is very similar to a Mercedes-Benz or a Tesla, which obviously this is kind of out there to compete against the Model Y. 2 charge ports here. They haven't charged it particularly quick, but they do work. A little bit of storage in there, 2 drink holders. No glove box, interestingly enough, I don't think. But as a whole, actually really nice. The seats are very comfortable. And probably one of my favorite things is that when you drive it, you can put your hand in there and rest on a long drive, which Skoda have always done, which I adore. However, it will, as we mentioned earlier, bing and bong at you because it can't seem to feel your hand on the steering wheel at times. Traditionally, Chinese manufacturers entering the Irish market in the last couple of years, it's been a bit hit or miss. The likes of Aura Funky Cat didn't really go down too well. However, on the flip side, BYD have played a stormer. If we look at some of the stats, in 2024, 600 new BYDs entered the Irish market, and already in early 2025, it's over 700. Now that's partly because of BYD and the cars and being very good, but also thanks to something else. And that is that BYD is imported by MDL. And MDL are the same people who distribute Mercedes-Benz in Ireland and have done for a very long period of time. And they have the expertise, the know-how, and the experience to really make a big impact. And very crucially, they are also going to be the ones distributing XPENG. And I think that's going to be the secret sauce to potentially this doing quite well in Ireland. In fact, to give you context, on a Monday I went to the press launch of this car, and on Tuesday afternoon the first dealership was open, which is absolutely incredible. They're moving at fast paces, which hopefully could do well for them, but who knows? Time will tell. In conclusion, I actually do think it's an incredibly well packaged car. The price of it is phenomenal. It looks absolutely excellent. It's turning loads of heads. And another big thing is that Volkswagen have actually purchased about 5% of the company. That's to do with production lines, the way they make the cars so efficiently. But if Volkswagen Group believe in them, then that is really good. And as a whole, as I said, I did really enjoy it. I do probably wish it binged and bonged a little less, but that is pretty much every new car nowadays. Now, if you have enjoyed this review, please make sure to subscribe. If you'd like to see us in any other cars in the near future, then comment below what they might be. And if you'd like to search for cars for sale in Ireland from over 1,000 trusted dealerships, you can hit the link up there. That's it for me now. We'll see you in the next one.